If you're listening to this alone, you might want to turn on a light. When Mara Ellis moved into her grandmother's house in Salem, she told herself she didn't believe in family curses. The house was old but not charming. The kind of old that felt damp even in summer. The kind where the air smelled like something had been shut away for decades. Most of the furniture had been cleared out, except for one thing: the mirror. It stood in the upstairs hallway, taller than a man, framed in blackened oak, carved with twisting vines and small screaming faces. You wouldn't notice unless you stared too long. It was too heavy to move, bolted directly into the wall. Her grandmother used to call it the witness. Mara had always assumed that was just another eccentricity. The first night in the house, Mara woke at 3:12 a.m. She didn't know why. Then she heard it. A soft tap, like a fingernail on glass. She stepped into the hallway, heart thudding, and froze. The mirror reflected the dim yellow of the nightlight behind her, the narrow corridor, the framed photographs, and her. Only, her reflection wasn't standing still. It was smiling. Not a normal smile, a slow, stretching grin that pulled too wide. Mara gasped and stumbled backward. The reflection didn't. It leaned closer to the glass. Then it mouthed something. 3 words: "Let me out." The hallway light flickered, and the reflection snapped back to normal. Her own horrified face stared at her. She told herself it was sleep paralysis, stress, grief. But the next morning, things were different. In the reflection, the hallway seemed longer. When she looked directly at the mirror, everything appeared normal. But from the corner of her eye, the corridor behind her stretched impossibly far, fading into darkness. And sometimes, there was someone standing at the far end, tall, thin, head tilted at a wrong angle, watching. On the 3rd night, Mara tested it. She stood before the mirror and raised her right hand. Her reflection followed. She lowered it. The reflection lowered it. Then very slowly, she kept her hand still. But her reflection lifted one finger, tapped the inside of the glass. Tap, tap, tap. Mara screamed and smashed a lamp against the mirror. The bulb shattered. The mirror didn't. Not a crack. Instead, the surface rippled, like water disturbed by a stone. And from within, she heard whispering, not one voice, many, layered, overlapping, begging, crying. Her grandmother's voice was among them. "Mara, don't turn away from it." Mara staggered back. The whispers sharpened into words. "We're still here." She found the old family journals in the attic that night. Her grandmother had written about the mirror in looping, frantic handwriting. "It doesn't show reflections," one entry read. "It shows replacements." Another entry: "Every generation it takes one of us. The mirror version stays here. The real one goes inside." Mara's breath caught. Her grandmother had disappeared for 3 days when Mara was 8. The family said she'd wandered into the woods and gotten lost. But when she came back, she'd been different. Quieter. Colder. She'd stopped calling the mirror the witness. She started calling it the door. At 3:12 a.m., the tapping returned. This time, louder. More urgent. Mara forced herself into the hallway. The mirror's surface was no longer reflective. It was dark, deep, like a tunnel stretching endlessly inward. Shapes moved inside it, pressing against the glass from the other side. Handprints, dozens of them. Then the darkness shifted, and she saw herself, but not the hallway version. This version was inside the mirror, pale, terrified, beating her fists against the inner surface. "No," Mirror Mara whispered silently. "You're the reflection." Mara staggered back, shaking her head. "That's not possible." Mirror Mara slammed her palms harder against the glass. Behind her, Mara saw them clearly now. Other figures, other faces, family members long dead, all trapped in a warped version of the hallway that stretched forever. Mirror Mara mouthed something else. "You died 3 nights ago." Mara's stomach dropped. Memories flickered. The first night, the tapping, the grin, the moment the reflection leaned forward. Had it pulled her in? Had she blacked out? She remembered smashing the lamp. But after that, nothing. A sudden horrifying thought dawned. What if she wasn't standing in the hallway? What if she was already inside? The air felt thicker, the house quieter. Too quiet. She ran downstairs, flung open the front door, stopped. There was no yard, no street, just darkness. An endless stretching corridor beyond the threshold, with mirrors lining both sides, each one reflecting her, each one smiling. Behind her, footsteps creaked, slow, measured. She turned. A woman stood at the top of the stairs. It looked like her grandmother, but younger, skin smoother, eyes colder. "You shouldn't have read the journals," the woman said gently. Mara's blood turned to ice. "You're not her." The woman smiled. "No, I'm the one who stayed." The grandmother thing descended the stairs, each step echoing too loudly. "The mirror doesn't take us," she explained softly. "It copies us. The copy lives your life. The original feeds the glass." Mara's reflection in the hallway mirror behind the woman grinned wider than the woman's actual face. "You're not real," Mara whispered. The grandmother tilted her head. "Neither are you." The walls trembled. The mirrors lining the darkness beyond the door began to crack. From inside each one, hands pushed outward, breaking through. Shards rained to the floor, but instead of glass, they were bone, finger bones, teeth, fragments of skull. The trapped family members were forcing their way out, and they were not human anymore. Mirror Mara appeared beside her in the hallway, not behind the glass, beside her, smiling that too wide smile. "It's your turn to stay," Mirror Mara said. The grandmother thing dissolved into smoke. The house warped, the walls peeled back like paper, and Mara felt herself being pulled backward, toward the original mirror in the hallway. She dug her nails into the floorboards, but they softened like wet clay. Mirror Mara grabbed her wrist. Her grip was freezing, stronger than it should have been. "Don't fight it," the reflection whispered. "It hurts more if you fight." Mara screamed as the mirror's surface liquefied and swallowed her hand. Then her arm. Then her face. The last thing she saw was herself standing in the hallway, breathing hard, alive. The house in Salem was sold a month later. The new owners couldn't remove the mirror. The bolts wouldn't budge. Sometimes, late at night, they hear tapping, very soft, very patient. And if they look closely, from the corner of their eye, they might see a woman inside the glass, beating her fists against the dark, mouthing 3 words. "Let me out."